Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? I am Derek Hayden. I am your host today for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, powered by Zambu. Zambu is the delicious vodka-based liqueur enhanced with the Brazilian buzz button. It gives you a nice tingle when you take a drink. Check it out at the local vendor near you. Made by a Central Illinois and for Central Illinoisans. Taste the tingle. So today we have a special guest he's a graduate of Teutopolis High School, resides in Effingham, Illinois currently. He's an Eastern Illinois graduate and the co-owner of Country Rhodes Catering, Central Illinois. Please welcome to the show, Lee Althoff. How are you doing, Lee?
Yes. Hey, doing well, Derek. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be on here and chat with you today.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you on, man. You have a pretty interesting story and an interesting business I want Central Illinois to hear more about. So
yeah, absolutely. We're just a little old catering business trying to take on the world.
There you go. Awesome. Well, before we get too far into it, I'm going to take you through our speed round real quick. If you're ready.
On. We're ready.
Awesome. Okay. So Lee, what was your first concert?
It was Kid Rock and Leonard Skinner.
That's awesome, dude.
I can't make that up.
I hope you got a t-shirt from that one.
It's somewhere. It was a long time ago. It was a heck of a concert, though.
Nice. What's your favorite movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Okay.
Tarantino in there. Yep.
There you go. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Rocky Road.
iPhone or Android?
I have an iPhone, but I think I prefer the Android, actually.
Oh, man. Okay. Fair enough.
Odd.
Favorite social media platform?
I spend most of my time on LinkedIn. I'm a nerd like that.
There we go.
LinkedIn. Yep.
I'm right there with you, man. It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee, why do you choose to stay in Central Illinois?
That is a really hard question. The majority is definitely family, but for Country Rhodes, it works out well, and we'll go into that too.
There we go. Perfect. Well, it's a perfect segue. Why don't you give us a little bit of a 2 to 3 minute background of what Country Rhodes Catering is, how you got into it, and we'll go from there.
So my wife and I were both teachers, and we kind of looked at our pocketbook one day, and we were like, this just isn't really going to work out with both of us being teachers and putting all of our eggs in one basket. So I just kind of put it out to the universe, said, hey, I'm looking for something new. I had no idea what was going to come my path. And then honestly, it was pretty quick. A couple months later, my father-in-law said, hey, my buddy's looking to sell his business. And I said, I don't know. I'm not a good cook. I'm not a chef. Like, I don't know anything about the big company. He's like, no. Just look into it and we'll go from there. That was in September, and in May of the next year, we officially bought Country Rhodes Catering, and I quit my teaching job and I was going full time.
Nice.
So a little bit about Country Rhodes. We do mostly on-site catering, which we have a large 40-foot mobile kitchen that we bring on site that has fryers and grills and refrigerations and freezers on the mobile kitchen. We go on site and we cook, and then we cater from on site, which is a little different than how everyone else does it.
Okay. Very cool.
So with that, we're able to do a little different, some different venues. We majority focus on large corporations that are multiple shifts, because we'll cook fresh food for all of the shifts. So for instance, we do a lot of work up in Champaign. We work at the FedEx distribution plant up there, the ground plant. They have about 800, 900 people typically. And
Very
we'll
cool.
serve at 2 p.m., 9 p.m., 3 a.m., and 7 a.m. So we do 4 shifts with like 250 people each, and then we leave.
Holy cow.
Everyone gets the same food. We treat everyone the same. So it's a really good morale boost for a lot of these places. And that's Country Rhodes in a nutshell.
That's awesome. So how scary was it taking the jump from teaching to a catering business?
I don't even, looking back on it, I still can't believe we did it. Like, all my friends were really worried about me. My in-laws were like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, this is a great idea. Go for it. my parents, who are also entrepreneurs, were just like, you're not a cook. You know nothing about this. What are you thinking? So it was nice. Really have my two mentors to help me out through the whole process and everything. But it was terrifying. And well, we muddled through so far, and we're making it.
Wow. That's a pretty cool story though, that just jumped into it and figured out how to float.
We just jumped into it, and buying a small business is a super interesting avenue. People think entrepreneur and they think, oh, I got to start my own thing. I have to be completely creative in everything I do. And there are a lot of baby boomers out there who are getting out of their small to medium sized business, and they're looking to sell to, honestly, someone who's hungry and wants to make the most out of their life. So if you got any young kids listening, like, you don't have to start your own thing. You can go into buying a small business and going that route.
Absolutely. No, that's a good piece of advice. Yeah. That's, I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. And you said it was your father-in-law approached you, said, hey, I got a buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's nuts.
Well, you should look into this.
Yeah. Well, and here you are.
And here we are. We were very lucky. There was one employee that worked for Country Rhodes for 8 years. We bought it about 2 years ago. So he just celebrated his 10-year anniversary. We are very, very fortunate to have him working with us. He does a great job. He taught me everything I know about catering. So that's kind of cool, like having someone be able to teach you, even though it's your business. And he's very passionate about it. So it's been working out super well.
Very cool. So the niche of catering to large businesses, was that something you came up with, or was that something that was already in existence whenever you bought the business? Yeah,
it was a little bit in existence. They only did it for one place, really. They were mainly focused on fundraisers, which we still do. But there was just one place down in Nashville, Illinois, that they worked with. And as soon as that we bought the company, they found something else and went a different route. So like the one, like, for sure thing I had going into buying this company was like out the door immediately, which is fine. We followed the niche. We followed that process. We are now catering for Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, FedEx. We're working with the NALs in the area, graphic packaging, just like very large.
Wow.
companies.
Holy cow. That's incredible. So how many units do you have then? Or is it just one that you travel back and forth to?
But we do have two, but we can almost do everything with one. Both units are set up. That's nice because whenever we're coming and going, and we come home from an event one night and then gotta leave the next morning, the other rig's ready to go, and we just roll out that way.
Very
rarely, cool. Right now, we don't have both rigs out at the same time very often.
Okay.
Just because it's me, one other guy, and my wife. So we bring on part-time people every once in a while, but that's about it.
That is crazy. That's awesome. Right here in Effingham County.
Yeah.
And you're catering for Walmart and Amazon.
Yeah. So our scope is pretty big because everything's mobile. We cook it all there. So we don't have to cook it here and then transport it. So here in 2 weeks, we'll actually be catering for the Target Distribution Center in Plainfield, Indiana, which is like right next to the airport in Indianapolis.
Wow.
We'll be there for 2 days. There's 2 shifts each day, and it's about 500 to 600 people a shift. So we're shooting for 2,000 people over the course of 2 days.
Wow, that is nuts.
It's a whole lot of food.
How do you, without giving away your secrets, how do you even get in contact with these types of businesses?
There's no secrets. Honestly, like, it was a lot of phone calls, just going there, knocking on doors and hoping for the best. It seems like this happened overnight, but for 2.5 years, I've been trying to get into some of these places, and some of them it's worked, and some of them I haven't even been close.
Wow.
So yeah, that's all there is to it.
Right. So
there's always competition for anything, and so I booted out. Someone had that contract, and I made someone mad because I had a better product and a better service. And if someone has a better product and service and they scoot me over, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good for any business leader, business owner out there listening. That's kind of a good topic, because we all know that typically, in order for us as a business owner, business leader trying to sell our product or service, in order for us to be hired, someone has to be fired.
someone's got to be fired.
Yeah. So being able to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, and it's just crazy that it extends, not only to the insurance industry, but to the catering industry as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think you pick an industry. It doesn't matter. I mean, someone's trying to innovate. Someone's trying to do better. So we're really focused on employee appreciation, employee morale right now in the world we live in. Looking at this 2021 wage or a job shortage, it's unreal.
Yep.
You got to do everything you can to keep your employees happy. So if I can give you a $10 meal and your employees are that much happier, shoot, they're, a lot of these companies are taking advantage of that.
Yep, you're exactly right. And it's funny timing wise, because I think I have a post scheduled to go on LinkedIn here in an hour or so. And the question is, what are some of the unique employee benefits that you've seen out in the marketplace to try to attract and retain your talent?
Yep.
And you see, you go through McDonald's drive-thru right now, and they're giving away free cell phones. And,
anything and everything.
Yeah. So, keeping your employees fed with good meals from Country Rhodes Catering is another good idea.
Exactly. And, we did a lot of research going into this company. We did just jump into it blind. And I've read a lot of studies that food is actually number 2, dollar for dollar on employee appreciation list. So number 1 is time. If I can give you, if you're getting paid, let's say $20 an hour, if I can give you $10 a time, that's a half hour out early on a Friday. Like, anybody's going to take that first rather than a $10 bill. But we need people to work. That's the issue right now. Number 2 is food. Is actually, they would rather take $10 worth of food during their meal, so that way they don't have to plan lunch that day or whatever, rather than you just give them a $10 bill, which is taxes only going to be $7 anyway. Right. Rather than the full $10 meal to be receiving. And then number 3 is, I forgot what number, and then it's typically money is number 4.
Yeah.
So it's, we're the second best incentive that you can give your employees. Number 1 being kind of unattainable right now. Right.
Exactly. So what are some of the types of food that you typically, I know you said you cook it there on site in your, is it like a trailer or food truck?
Yeah, it's a we call it a large mobile kitchen. Like,
okay.
Picture a food truck with no windows, but 40 foot long.
Okay.
So we're able to hold about 1,500 people worth of food. And whenever we're cranking and it's buffet style, we can serve about 250 to 300 people an hour.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
And then right now we're doing all individually packaged because we change like everyone else.
Sure.
So all of our food is actually individually packaged in styrofoam to-goes. And then that gets put into a warmer. And then the employees come through, they take the food out of the warmer in the to-go box, grab their condiments, cutlery, desserts, and be on their way.
Very cool. Yeah. Wow. It's just
how we
a cool business.
Yeah. We served tens of thousands of people that way over the past year.
Cool. So what are some of your specialty foods?
Yeah, so we're constantly changing. The Home Depot over in Indianapolis, they called us the other day and they said, "Hey, we're having a carnival day. Can you make a carnival meal for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that." So we ended up doing a pork fritter with mini corn dogs, fried green beans, and I think mac and cheese or something like that.
That sounds delicious.
It was an awesome meal. So we're constantly changing our menus and doing anything that the customer wants. Typically we do for the individually packaged, our pulled pork, chicken strips, baked beans, and chips is kind of our go-to. We also have like a fish sandwich, chicken. We typically do 2 meats and 2 sides. And we have a pretty big menu that we're pretty proud of that we put together for this individually packaged, because you can't just do anything because it doesn't hold very well in the warmer. So we had to we really had to limit our menu. Now buffet style, we can do just about anything.
Okay. Very cool. So do you ever do any type of like weddings or private events, or is it mainly just working with employers?
We are working on a different wedding tactic. It's going to be a drop-off service. We've tried it, and every time we pull our big trailer into a venue, it just, I don't know, we always have trouble with it, and it hasn't worked out very well. So we are looking at just utilizing our main kitchen that we have right south of Effingham, utilizing that as doing a drop-off service for smaller corporate events, things from people of 50 to 200 to 300. So that way we're not bringing our big trailer everywhere.
Very cool. Very cool.
So we do some weddings. If any of your listeners have questions about it, feel free to give me a call or email, and we'll see if we can work something out.
Absolutely. No, that's very cool. So, when you were a teacher, I was a substitute teacher for about 2 years, and I can tell you that for me, the paycheck wasn't very good, but I halfway wanted to strangle a kid every day because you know how they treat substitute teachers. So that was about, 2 years in I was like, I can't keep doing it. I got to find a full-time gig that's going to, keep me out of trouble. So, so how many years had you and your wife taught? You said you kind of was the paycheck where you're wanting maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about that.
Yeah. So I got 4 years under my belt. My wife had 7 before she was able to quit. And we have this absolute freedom, which is awesome. If you have a 9-to-5 job and you're looking to do something else, like do everything you can to make it happen because it's worth it. The headaches and everything and the stress with it. I love teaching. I still do. I love the kids. I love that aspect of it. It was everything else that you don't want as a teacher that made me quit. So I'm pretty fortunate. I'm part of the FEM CEO class. I'm a mentor through that. I do give some private soccer lessons and things like that. So I still get my teacher out, is how I say it, every once in a while. But I get to have all the fun parts of education with none of the other stuff that people don't want to deal with.
Very cool.
So that's how I transitioned out. It was pretty easy for me because I knew I was going to be able to get into things where I was going to still be able to have my passion of teaching. But instead of 80 hours a week, it's like 1 hour a week now, which is
manageable.
A lot better.
Yeah, exactly. So still feel like it was a good decision after jumping away from teaching, going to Country Rhodes?
I think if you look at anybody in my shoes, I'm part of a business networking group, and some of us have taken this plunge. And there are some days I just look up like, what in the world did I do? Like, this was so silly. Like, I should have been a good boy. I should have had my job. I should have got my paycheck, gone to Florida every other year and been fine and not had as much stress. But then, like, right after I get that decision, like, I don't know, something happens, or or just the freedom of, okay, cool, like, we're going on, not working today. And it's unique, especially in my industry that's event based. If I don't have an event booked, I'm off. And I just, I know our marketing is going to work and that something else is going to come in the next week. So I actually had the first full week in November off because no one booked anything.
Right.
Now, the rest of my month and December is packed, but we just had some family time, and it took about 2 or 3 days and didn't do anything for the business, which was super nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you mentioned before that your parents were kind of mentors on the entrepreneurial side.
Yeah.
What type of businesses were your parents involved in? What did you learn from them as you jumped into the business owner role?
Yeah. So it's kind of unique, and I'm assuming my parents and my in-laws are going to listen to this, and they're going to both like yell at me for saying this stuff, I think, but that's all right. My mom and dad, they own their business very, very hands-on. I mean, dad, he dug fence posts until he's still digging fence posts. He doesn't even own the company anymore. He sold it. He's still digging fence posts. And I'm just like, you got to get a little more hands off. Like, that's why you hire good people and put good people in situations. And my in-laws are kind of the exact opposite. I'm just like, you're too hands off on your business. Like, you need to be in the grind just a little bit more, so that way you understand what's going on and what can be fixed in the companies that you run. So I really, really enjoy that, because I'm able to, anytime I have a question, I always ask both of them, and I always get very different answers. And sometimes I use one or the other, and sometimes I pick the middle. So I'm very fortunate to have some really good mentors in my life to guide me on my way, because I don't know what I'd do without them. I'm constantly asking questions, probably to the point where they're annoyed. But that's what they get for, I don't know, letting me do this. I'm constantly just asking questions and just trying to get any advice that I can.
That's great. Well, I think if you didn't ask questions, you might be in trouble. So
that is just the truth, and lifelong learning. Before I bought the business, I bought just a all kinds of business books just to figure out what in the world I was getting myself into. So that's actually how we got connected, because I noticed your Purple Cow, and it related to a book that I read called Talk Triggers by Jay Baer, and we met over a LinkedIn post. So
exactly.
It's kind of cool how when you start reading, there's a big community out there that has the exact same thoughts and reads the same stuff, and it's easy to get connected with people then.
Yep, exactly. So while we're talking about being a mentor, you said you're part of the CEO program in Effingham County. So tell me a little bit about your involvement and what you've done over the past few years with that.
If you're not familiar with CEO, it's a class for mostly seniors, sometimes juniors. It's all over Illinois. They have like 13 different states now that they're a part of, that Craig Limbaugh started. And it basically allows students to build a class business together. And then in the spring, they create their individual business. They ask people in the community to be a one-on-one mentor with a high school senior to go over their business ideas. Honestly, what I like about it is, so this is my second year doing it. I'm really good friends with the facilitator of the CEO, and she puts me with a shy person who wants to be more confident, who wants to break out of their shell. And it's an awesome experience, and they teach me a whole lot more than I could ever teach them. It's super cool. If you're not able to mentor anybody, especially if you're in a position where you can, take the time out of your schedule and do it. Like, you're going to learn more than you think. And so the CEO is a great program. There's also C-Tech in the Effingham area. That's more builder trades rather than entrepreneurial. I know they're always looking for mentors as well, and there's just a lot of cool stuff going on there for the younger generation, and they need people to help. And so if you're able to reach out to someone and get in that situation.
Very cool. Yeah, I am also a mentor in Shelby County for
Very
CEO.
nice.
So a little tip for anybody out there who might be in a community where there is a CEO program. This year, my mentee is getting in. She wants to do a videography business. So I kind of hinted to the facilitator and that I wanted her to be my mentee, because I'm paying her now to do videography for my business stuff. And she's doing, she did something a lot of people might not know. I recently won a reality show in the insurance industry, and she helped me video some of the stuff to help get votes. Ultimately, the winner was decided by a vote. So she did some videos for me to help me get votes. And we just had a radio interview about 2 weeks ago, and she videotaped the radio interview. So obviously we were on the radio, plus we had the video we could post on social media and, all over the place. So you can find, if you're a business owner out there, not just videographers, but these young entrepreneurs, they know probably more about social media than you do, video editing, that type of stuff. And I have learned more from them than they have learned from me, more than likely. So very cool thing to get involved. Oh, by the way, I'm going to grab this real quick.
The Purple Cow. Yep. He's got it.
That's my Purple Cow. I bought this from a CEO student. The first year Shelby County had a CEO class, and her personal business was a photography business. And she is from the Stew-Straws area, and her family owns a farm, and she was her specialty was livestock photography. So at the trade show, I was like, so she had this picture sitting on her trade show table, and I said, it's a weird question, but can you turn this cow purple? She goes, maybe I can try. I was like, if you can, I'll buy it from you. So this is my Purple Cow. And for all those people listening, a purple cow is good. There's a poem that means a purple cow is bad, but Seth Godin, the marketing guru, says a purple cow is good because you stand out from your marketplace. So that's my Purple Cow story.
And that's what we found Country Rhodes, our niche of, large companies, over 500 people, for employee appreciation meals for 3 shifts. I mean, I think the more you can have, the more wordy your niche is, the better it is. You obviously need a concise for marketing terms, but whenever you know exactly that one person you're looking for, it's so great. My person's name is Heather. I'm looking for a Heather. She's worked at a company for 30 years. This company has over 500 employees. Heather's got 3 kids. All the kids are grown. She's got a couple of grandkids she's very proud of. Heather basically runs this company. She's actually the assistant to a couple of people, but everyone knows Heather runs the company. And that's the person who I'm trying to meet. And if you can specify that, that's the person I'm marketing towards, and it makes everything so much easier.
Exactly. That's true in any business, in my opinion. I mean, especially, if you can get that granular in the catering business, imagine how granular you can get with insurance, or, a law, tax preparation. You can do it. And honestly, once you start to turn your focus to being that laser focused towards your ideal prospect or ideal customer, you just start winning. And that's great.
You really do. Especially whenever you can provide the best service for that absolute niche.
That's very cool.
You think of catering, it's okay, like food to people, weddings and, business events, and that's it. We kind of just flip that on its head, and I know we're only going after this, and especially COVID was interesting for our business, and that's the only place people were gathering was work. So we just had to go there. That was super. That was an interesting time to buy a catering business as well. we had 9 months before COVID started.
That's crazy. Yep. You were all in at that point. So adapter or figure.
As adapt or die. And we're still kicking, so we're still here.
There you go. Well, good deal, man. Well, it's crazy, Lee. We're already almost to a half hour. Before we say our final words. Yes. So any recommendations or ideas for entrepreneurs out there, anything that you can speak on for experience, if there's someone maybe wanting to get into business or is looking to take their business to the next level?
Yeah. It's education. Fill your news feeds, whatever you're on, with people who inspire you. And there's all kinds of people out there doing great stuff. And the fact that you're listening to a podcast like this, like, you're already on the right path. I recommend just soaking in all of that, and just make sure it's an hour a day or a half hour a day or 15 minutes a day of continuing education. And it's going to make it worth your time. Very cool. I agree. Well, Lee, how can people that are listening reach out to you? Where can they find you on social? Yeah, we're on Country Rhodes, RHODES, just like the last name, countryrhodes.com. That's where you'll find all of our menus and stuff like that. We do some stuff on Facebook. We're Lee and Kelly Althoff on our LinkedIn, but you can also type in Country Rhodes and find us on LinkedIn. And that's about the best way to find us. And if you got any questions about anything, listeners, whether you're looking to buy your own business or something like that, I do have some material that helps you. I stole it all. I didn't make any of it up. It's all like the business Harvard review. I read the book of how to buy a small business. It's not exciting, but it's some good stuff. Go to our website, countryrhodes.com, and you'll see my email up there and everything. And I'll be happy to chat with you. Awesome. Lee, it's been great. It's been awesome. Thanks for having me. This has been so much fun. Very cool. Yeah. Very interesting business. And I'm sure our listeners are going to find a lot of pleasure listening to this one. So all you listeners out there, make sure you're subscribing to the CIBL podcast on whatever platform you consume podcasts on: iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. We're on all of them. Also, while you're there, please leave a review. And you can also find us on LinkedIn and Facebook and engage with our guests there as well. So until next time, Lee, you have officially been civilized. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. Awesome. Thanks for coming on again, Lee. Hey, thanks, Derek. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL Podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.